Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. With everything going on in the world and the US today, I thought that this book review would be one of the most important and difficult that I have ever done. I hope you all will read this book and it will inspire you as much as it inspired me. About a year and a half ago, December of 2018, I was at my after school program. I just got out of tennis and Miss T came up to me and was like, okay, she does look like her. And I was like, what? First, let me tell you guys how I got this book. The story is crazy, like you guys are not gonna believe this. So I was just at my after school program. I just finished doing tennis and everyone was kind of crowded around the registration desk and I was like, and then they went, her. She looks like her. Now, I don't look like a lot of people. I don't even look like my own parents. Like, I don't even know where these features come from. It's like I have a little piece of everyone in my whole family, so I don't look like anyone specifically. But they said, you look like her. And the next thing I know, I am portraying one of the authors of the book, Minyon Moore, at the book signing hosted by Cora Mastersberry. And this is Minyon Moore. We look so much alike that in the pictures of me and her at the book signing, Google Photos mixed us up, and you know how they have the little people? It said that I was her. Crazy, right? Yeah. So at the book signing, before they introduced the Color Girls, they introduced me and a couple of other people that were portraying the other authors of the book, and we went on stage before they did, and everyone was like, that's not them. And we were like, yeah, we're not them. But then we went on and we did bios of them, telling who they are and what their lives were like. And then they introduced the real Color Girls and they came on stage. So after they talked and after the event was over, they did the book signing. And I got my book signed by all of the Color Girls. So that was a really unique experience, which is what I love about the tennis center that I went to. Much love to you guys. You guys have heard me say the Color Girls a couple times, so let me tell you who the Color Girls are. So these are the Color Girls. They're the ones that wrote the book. The book is called For Color Girls Who Have Considered Politics. And there's Donna Brazile, Yolanda Caraway, Leah Daughtry, and Minyon Moore, and Veronica Chambers. Veronica Chambers is the one that helped them write the book and put together all of their quotes and stories. So that's Yolanda Caraway, that's Donna Brazile, that's Leah Daughtry, and that's Minyon Moore / me. So they call themselves the Color Girls. But the cool thing is that throughout the book, they also call other people the Color Girls, because the Color Girls, they're not really one group of people. They're a certain type of person. A Color Girl is a person of color who puts themselves out there and gets themselves involved in politics and really wants to help their community. So the way that this book is set up, each person will be telling parts of their story from when they first started getting involved in politics all the way up to their current careers. So it's basically a huge collection of quotes from them, not like quotes in the way of inspirational quotes. Well, there are some in there, which I will talk about later, but it's basically them telling their story and then stuff in between that puts it all together, which was what Veronica Chambers did. Like in this part of the book, it'll say, Tina is incredibly loyal, says Minyon, but she's also fiercely smart, and personality-wise, she's the opposite of me. We are all the opposite of each other, and I get along better with Donna than the rest of them. I get along better than all of them than they do each other. I just do. Then there's something that Veronica Chambers wrote, and then there's another quote by, who's that? I don't know who said that, but that's basically how it's set up, and each person talks throughout the entire book, which is what I really like about it, and it keeps it interesting because you get to see different points of view, and it's all in order of their career journeys. So in general, this book is about their journey through their political careers, the joys and struggles of being a Black woman in politics, and there's also a little bit of comedy sprinkled in. I thought Donna was really, really funny, and it's It's just really, really nice to hear stories of Black women making their way up because I feel connected to them somehow. I don't know why, but it just felt very personal when I was reading it. So it's like almost like an emotional roller coaster. They take you everywhere in this book. It talks about the several presidential campaigns that they worked on, how they got first involved in politics, how they grew up, how they encouraged others to get involved in politics, all the way up to their current careers. Here is one of my favorite passages from the book. This one is from Yolanda Caraway. Yolanda adds that planning an inaugural with the Republicans still in office presented unique challenges. Quote, "Everything was so intense. It was very frustrating." End quote. VIPs were allotted a certain number of tickets to various events depending on their status. Most people could only buy 2 per event. But, as Yolanda remembers, quote, "Every day there was somebody who wanted more than 2 tickets. We had people who wanted to buy whole tables and multiple tickets for events. Every day, Camellia would go into the huge room that housed all of the computers used to handle ticket sales, to add people, to change the numbers, and every morning it never failed. When the staff came back, the numbers had been changed." Quote, "We just knew we were being sabotaged by the Republicans because we were in the Navy Yard, in a Navy building that was still under their control. So they still had control over everything. It was horrible. It was the worst thing. Looking back, I can see that that was my first experience with hacking." This quote stood out to me the most because back then we didn't rely on technology as much as we do now, and they still ended up getting hacked. Which is why, on a side note, I want to encourage more women and girls of color to get into STEM because now more than ever technology is so important in politics. This next quote is from Minyon Moore during the 2016 election right after Hillary lost. "When I saw all those young people that had worked on the campaign, when I saw their faces, it just tore me apart," she explains. "Up until that point, I had held it together because I was really in my head saying, somebody is gonna figure out that something went wrong and this is going to be all right. I was thinking, any day now, we're going to figure it out." Facing the volunteers in the grand ballroom pulled the election into focus in an entirely different way for Minyon, she says. "When I saw the pain in those young people's faces, Lord have mercy. It's clear that the emotion comes rushing back to her because she is not at all visualizing the crowd, but rather the individual young women and men she mentored and became fond of. That's when I realized for the first time this campaign was bigger than any one person," she says. "It was never really about Hillary. It was all those faces that we never see, we never get to talk about. It was all those young people who didn't have a champion in the White House. I thought, oh my God, what will happen to them?" This passage illustrates that whether or not you're old enough to vote, the elections affect all of us, which is why we need to show up and advocate for ourselves, because when we lose, we all lose. But when we win, we all win. So those last ones were pretty long. You're probably not going to remember them. I mean, even I had to read them. But these next 2 are a couple quotes you can just take with you and are a little bit easier to remember, but they're still some of my favorites from the book. I wrote them in my journal so that I would not forget them, and they are very, very good. So the first one is from Leah Daughtry, and she says that sitting in church won't make you any more Christian than sitting in a garage will make you a car. That one just stood out to me because it was kind of funny and ironic, and I was just like, well, it's true. I mean, if you're just sitting in your garage like going vroom vroom, you're not gonna be a car. So I really like that one. I mean, you could put it on a vision board. Go ahead, make a vision board and put it on there, because I thought that really resonated in my spirit. Some people like to say that someone opened the door for them to come through, but unfortunately, sometimes when you get through the door, it closes behind you. So I really like this quote by Donna Brazile. She says that I got in by destroying the door or building a new room where colored girls and colored boys could thrive. I like that quote because now there is no door. It can't close behind you and everybody can come in. This book was amazing, and it really opened my eyes to the importance of politics. Not just hearing about it and seeing some of it on the news, but not really getting involved in it. Watching the news, understanding the news, getting involved, knowing what's going on, and being a part of it. Malcolm X said, "The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman." So reading that was a little hard because I am black. I'm gonna be a woman. And that is apparently me. However, reading this book gave me hope because in the book they said that when black women are free, everyone is free, because that means America has overcome racism and sexism. So imagining that world, I was like, I really, really hope that that is soon, and it inspired me because I want that world to be the world that I live in and the world that my kids will live in and my grandkids will live in, and that we'll all be free. I recommend this book to ages 12 and up because some parts of it are a little scary because racism is scary. It wasn't that hard to read, but you might want to keep your phone nearby you or your computer nearby you because you might need to Google some people and look some stuff up if you're not exactly familiar with the political world. Why do you need to read it now? Well, it is so important to be informed on what is happening in America. Even if you're not old enough to vote, you can use your talents to get involved in politics. Can you draw? Can you dance? Can you write? You can write a speech. You can draw a sign. You can make a political cartoon. You can use your talents to make your voice heard. You can get this book on Amazon. I'll put a link down below in the description to where you can get it. So again, this is For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Politics by Donna Brazile, Yolanda Caraway, Leah Daughtry, Minyon Moore, and Veronica Chambers. One of the best things that I learned in this book was the power of having like-minded individuals around you that will encourage you and help you on your journey in life. Which brings me to the book that I'll be reviewing next week called Painted Stories, which is by a group of wonderful like-minded girls. One of which has been on my channel 4 times now. She was in my vision boards video, filmed at my house. She was in my international taste testing video, filmed at her house. And we went to Six Flags together, which was super duper fun. She was also a very special guest on my 3-hour Lemonerdy subscribe-a-thon. And the best thing is that she is one of my very best friends. Hannah Collins is one of the authors in this book. So make sure that you guys subscribe so that you do not miss that review. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you will get this book and be inspired like I was. Bye!